The first Apple Vision Pro reviews are in.
I can see everything. I see you. A little hello has just written itself across my screen.
Some were exactly what I expected, and some really surprised me. And if you don't want to watch hours worth of reviews, I did it for you so that you don't have to. While I'm still waiting on receiving my Vision Pro in February, in this video I will go over some key points that the reviewers such as MKB, The Verge, iJustine, and others made after trying Apple Vision Pro. Normally I don't make reaction videos, and this is not it. I will look across their opinions and identify common themes in their experiences, and also points where they disagreed, which will also help my own review when I finally make it. These reviews were really interesting to watch because they were made not by VR niche experts, and for many of them this was one of very few VR headsets that they've tried. So I will walk you through the common themes that emerged from these reviews surrounding the overall immersive experience, FaceTime avatar realism, design and aesthetics, interface and usability, integration with Apple's ecosystem, and practicality in daily use. Enjoy, and make sure to subscribe so that you don't miss my Apple Vision Pro review when it finally drops. Let's go. One of the most praised aspects of Apple Vision Pro is its ability to immerse users in the virtual world with an unprecedented level of realism. Marcus in his review was particularly interested by the spatial audio capabilities of this device. It wasn't just about the sound quality, he was particularly impressed during a VR concert experience where the direction audio made it feel like he was in the front row, noting the audio is so immersive it feels like you're really there. This sentiment was echoed by The Verge, which highlighted the device's robust spatial tracking as a standout feature. I'm a bit surprised by how impressed they were by this, because spatial audio is definitely not a groundbreaking feature, so I am curious to see how it compares to something like Quest 3, for example. However, The Verge also pointed out the weight and comfort trade-offs, indicating that while this technology is groundbreaking in some aspects, it's not without its physical limitations. The Verge's critique of the headset's weight becomes especially noticeable in long gaming sessions. They mentioned a 2-hour gaming task that became uncomfortable over time, and they were highlighting this as a very important area for improvement. While Vision Pro's audio-visual immersion is definitely a leap forward in their opinion, making sure that it's comfortable for prolonged use is very important for mainstream adoption. And honestly, I was quite a bit disappointed here because, come on, it's a $3,500 headset from Apple. Comfort was supposed to be one of the top priorities for this product, and yet we've got the same issues as the $300 Quest 2. And for Quest, at least we can get some comfort straps and mods, and I really don't think that you'll be able to do that for Apple. Same struggles, but for such a higher price. Next, avatar realism and FaceTime functionality. Apple Vision Pro's take on avatar realism and FaceTime functionality also received mixed reviews. Marcus appreciated its well-developed nature of the avatars, but observed some limitations, which were mostly in some static nature of hair and accessories. He found using FaceTime on the headset quite futuristic, and he said that it's kind of like stepping into a sci-fi movie. Yet The Verge found some kinks in this experience, particularly with the interface, where hand tracking and eye tracking, they just didn't always hit the mark, which also surprised me. These were particularly noticeable in fast-paced interactive games where precise hand and eye tracking are crucial. Honestly, I kind of expected that. Eye and hand tracking technology is still quite novel, and I have never had anything close to seamless experience with it. It's always something, and I really never believed that Apple would be the holy grail in this. In the end, they seem to have the same struggles as Meta, just for a much higher price tag. It was interesting to see the FaceTime in action though. I thought that it looked incredibly cool, but Marcus again found the expressive features kind of lacking. It sometimes felt like talking to sophisticated mannequins. I also got strong Sims vibe here. At the same time, he did say that it made him feel like they were all in the same room together. The feeling I definitely don't get with any virtual avatars today, especially with Horizon workrooms. They all just look so cartoonish. This seems to be really close to being realistic. Design and aesthetics? Well, when it comes to design and aesthetics, the Vision Pro has sparked diverse opinions. iJustine was enthusiastic about the device's sleek, modular design and overall look. She said that even the unboxing itself was an experience. She also appreciated the attention to detail, like the texture and finish of the headsets, and she said that it felt luxurious, like a high-end accessory. And well, I expected nothing less from Apple, and for that price, imagine opening that box and finding a flimsy, plasticky goggles for almost $4,000. CNET took a somewhat more balanced view. They noted the heftiness of the device and the need for an external battery, and that's a sentiment that The Verge shared as well, mentioning that it is a significant drawback. CNET, however, brought up the practical aspects, pointing out that the device's bulkiness and the external battery would be potential downsides to users who might be looking for something more streamlined. So just as expected from the design perspective, while the Vision Pro excels in aesthetics, so it seems difficult to balance elegance and ergonomics. It's still quite a challenge even for Apple. Next, interface and usability. The testers strongly disagreed on the interface and usability of the Vision Pro. Now, that's something I did not expect. Although, of course, usability can be a subjective matter, so let's take a look. Justine found the interface intuitive and easy to set up. She highlighted how easy it was to navigate through various apps and settings. She also described the setting up process as a breeze, which is a stark contrast to The Verge and CNET's experience. The Verge in particular addressed issues with precision and usability, stating that the interface leaves room for improvement, especially in hand and eye tracking. Justine showed how easy it is for her to interact with the interface by doing some VR painting. She noted that the controls were so intuitive. The Verge's struggles with hand and eye tracking were especially obvious when they were trying to navigate through complex menus, which sometimes felt clunky and unintuitive. It's kind of amazing how watching these two different reviews of the same product kind of gave me the feeling like they were actually testing completely different builds. I think that this is a good reminder for all of us to watch multiple reviews before buying something as expensive as Apple Vision Pro to get a really rounded up opinion. And at the same time, I felt like a user's previous experience with XR technologies are very crucial here, just because for us, experienced VR users who might find all these things a lot more intuitive than newbies. The integration of the Vision Pro with Apple's wider ecosystem, Marcus appreciated the seamless connectivity with other Apple's devices, particularly noting how effortlessly he could sync his iPhone with the headset. Verge, however, pointed out some inconsistencies, especially when using Vision Pro with older Apple devices, which I thought was interesting. During a test, they experienced minor syncing issues with an older iPad, so while the ecosystem integration is a strong selling point for Apple, it only works seamlessly with recent Apple devices, but nobody really knows when this cutoff point will begin. Justine was particularly impressed with how the Vision Pro worked in tandem with Apple Watch. She mentioned using the watch's health tracking features while exercising in VR Fitness app, which she described as a perfect blend of physical and virtual fitness tracking. Now that I found really cool, and fitness will definitely be the point that will attract many new users. I feel like the Vision Pro is not made to stand as an individual product, but as a piece of a larger puzzle where its true potential is realized in how well it fits and functions with the existing Apple's ecosystem. And I really think that it needs to be explored more in future reviews, so I'll definitely keep that in mind. Now, when it comes to integrating the Vision Pro into daily lives, the interviews again had different opinions. CNET questioned the device's practical and everyday applications like reading news or watching videos. They said that it felt like an overkill for such simple tasks, and I completely agree. There's so many much cheaper headsets like Quest 3 and even Quest 2, especially given that the current limitation in gaming and app variety. This purchase really raises some eyebrows. Marcus and Justine were kind of more excited about it and more optimistic. Marcus was sharing his experience with his virtual work meetings, and he found it surprisingly engaging and productive, calling it a glimpse into the future of daily tech interactions. But again, I tend to disagree, because you can glimpse into the future for so much less money. Apple didn't invent virtual calls or meetings, and certainly didn't invent productivity in VR. But there's one thing that's for certain. Apple's biggest contribution to the industry isn't that they built a super innovative product, because as we've seen it, they most definitely did not. It's that they are making XR socially acceptable and maybe even desirable for non-tech audience who normally perhaps wouldn't even consider getting a VR headset for everyday use. And that's the real power of Apple Vision Pro. It's not so much about innovation as it's about making VR, all VR, cool for non-tech people. Say whatever you want about this headset, Apple Vision Pro is great news for the entire VR industry. So far, the most impressive features pointed out by these initial reviews are the audio-visual experience and avatar realism. Interface intuitiveness, which I thought Apple would nail, actually was a point of some major disagreement, which I found surprising. Also, it looks like it might not be comfortable for extended use, which is a huge disappointment given how much money consumers are expected to pay for this piece of technology. Still, I found it a bit funny how many of these reviewers were gushing over some functionalities that we've already seen in other headsets.
I can see everything. I see you. A little hello has just written itself across my screen.
This goes to show you that VR reviewers may actually take a more critical stance of this technology because of the very specific and narrow niche. You know, we're literally like bleeding and breathing VR. That's what we do. So I would definitely stick around for Apple Vision Pro reviews from other VR reviewers, such as myself. I will be reviewing it next month once I receive Apple Vision Pro. So watching these reviews was really insightful, but in my review, I would definitely dive deeper. So make sure to stick around and subscribe to Disco VR so that you don't miss it. Thanks for watching and see you next time.